Hey, what's up guys? How you all doing? Now, what are the best solo warframes in the game right now? It's a question that I asked you guys a while back in my Ivara video, and you guys responded with hundreds of comments listing your top 5 solo frames. And since a lot of players enjoy running solo because of either internet issues or lag in public matches or whatever, I thought it might be a fun idea to make this video using your lists or your comments as, I guess, the backbone for the top 5 in the video. Now, I don't think that the warframes mentioned in this list will come as a surprise to many of you guys. A lot of you basically know who the best solo frames are in the game, or the frames that basically make it a little bit easier for you to run as solo. In fact, feel free to leave a comment before you actually watch the video and see if you are right with who you think will be in the top 5. Also, a very quick disclaimer, this list is not in any real order. Each frame is as good as the next one in terms of solo play, depending on who's using them. Also, check the date of the video in case any of these frames get changed and you're watching it 6 months from now wondering why a certain frame is in the list or not on the list, and might stop a few people from feeling a little bit salty. Also, since the recent changes to our void system, which is now a relic system, almost every frame can run solo Fisher runs without any real struggle if you have the right build. And I will also mention a few other frames at the end of the video that I personally think are also amazing solo. So with all of that nonsense out of the way, let's start the list. Now, the first warframe on the list is Inaros, our Desert King, a frame with an insane health pool, high armor values and multiple different ways to heal himself. He also has a nice amount of crowd control, so already you can see that he has high health, crowd control and self-healing, which makes him an amazingly tanky warframe. Each time he gets kills with a finisher, he also gets healed for huge amounts. So if you add in a dagger with covert lethality, and every time you crowd control with his desiccation or pocket sand, you open up enemies to finishers, and it's an insta kill regardless of enemy level, and also it's an insta heal. Desiccate that level 400 bombard and it's a guaranteed insta kill with your dagger once you've got covert lethality equipped. If you're about to die, he also has a panic ability called Devour, which will allow you to take no damage while eating or consuming an enemy to heal yourself, and also make a sand minion in return for the enemy's death. So all of this makes Inaros a huge favourite in the warframe community for running solo, and you can see why. He is an incredibly good frame. Next up on the list is Wukong, but not just any Wukong, a Defy and Rage modded or built Wukong. With Defy active, each time Wukong takes a fatal blow or a death blow, he has a percentage of his health returned to him at a cost of some energy. Each time he takes this fatal blow with Defy active, your health returned is smaller and your energy cost is greater, so every time you take that death blow it kind of increases. The energy cost each time starts off at 25%, then goes up to 30, 40 and eventually 50% of a cost. So if you keep recasting Defy, then you will have greater heals at a lesser energy cost, and because you're also running with the mod Rage equipped, then you're constantly refunding energy as well. So it's a never ending cycle of energy cost followed by energy regen. If you're lucky enough to have an Arcane Grace or an Arcane Energize on him, then he is even more powerful. Not to mention Syndicate procs from weapons that will also heal him or regen energy also. Right now, Wukong is probably the last real so-called invincible frame in Warframe, since Valkyr got that slight rework to her Hysteria, and he definitely deserves his spot in the top 5 solo Warframes right now in the game, because he is really feckin' good. So the thing about the next frame is it was kind of a toss-up between two frames. I wasn't sure which one to put in. It was either going to be Ashe with his Ashhole Bladestorm build or Valkyr with her Hysteria build. Honestly, both of them are still incredible, but as we know, Ashe is getting his Bladestorm reworked soon. In fact, I think they mentioned it at TennoCon as well, that they have already tested some different variants of Bladestorm but weren't really happy with the outcome of them. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Valkyr and her Hysteria build. It is still incredibly strong, providing you can avoid nullifier bubbles. So I guess if you're doing a mission that doesn't have nullifiers, you're going to be fine. And if you're doing one with nullifiers, you need to kind of work around them and hope one doesn't just drop down on top of you. Because if that nullifier bubble drops down on top of you, especially if your Hysteria has a high amount of damage absorbed, then that nullifier will pop Hysteria and make you take a ton of damage in one go and more than likely just kill you. So Valkyr's Hysteria makes her invulnerable, but it's also a heal as well. So even if you decide you prefer to run with a Warcry Valkyr and run low on health, you can quickly just pop Hysteria, heal up and then pop straight back out of it. Valkyr is also really tanky with incredibly high ammo values, and let's be honest, she also looks incredible. Valkyr has probably one of the most dedicated player bases in the game right now, with players who have multiple forma on her as they search for the perfect build to suit their playstyle. You will have Valkyr players who prefer to run for Warcry, and you will have ones who prefer to run as Hysteria, and it is entirely up to you guys which one you prefer to run with. Ashe, however, right now with his Bladestorm build is incredibly good, but like I said, a rework is inbound and it's only a matter of time before it gets tweaked, and I guess hopefully Bladestorm will still be incredibly effective and hopefully it won't be nerfed into the ground, but only time will tell. Which leads us to our next frame, and I wouldn't feel right not putting this Warframe in the list because it is the princess himself, my favourite Warframe, Chroma. You all know by now how I feel about Chroma. Steve has also mentioned in a recent prime time that they might take a look at Chroma and how he works, which has me pretty damn nervous. I don't want him getting any kind of a nerf or any kind of a change. I really enjoy Chroma the way he is, and it costs far too much and takes a lot of time and work to get your Chroma to the insane tank levels that I've got mine at now. Arcane Grace, Arcane Barrier or Arcane Guardian will increase your Chroma by a hell of a lot and make him incredibly effective. Whether you prefer to run as a Fire Chroma, a Shock Chroma, a Toxic one, or my favourite, which is the Ice Tank Chroma, he's pretty effective in each setup. But for me, as I've already said, the Ice Chroma is the way that I prefer to run with, and I think that is the tankiest version. As an Ice Chroma with Vex Armor and Elemental Ward active, you will have really high armor values. Enemy projectiles like rockets will rebound off you. The Fury buff you gain when you lose health will also give you a huge damage increase, allowing your weapons to hit incredibly hard. On the other hand, Shock Chromas are insane against Corpus and deal a really nice amount of arc lightning damage from your charge once you've got the right build. As a Fire Chroma, your health pool is really high, and if you're running for Effigy, then you can get those increased credits from Effigy kills as well, so he's also good for credit farming. Now, Toxic Chromas can make any slow reloading weapon bearable by speeding up that reload time, so if you enjoy running with either slow shotguns or with sniper rifles, then a Toxic Chroma will make that a lot more fun for you. So you can see why I think he's a great solo frame. Well, hopefully you can see why I think he's a good solo frame. If you can't, then fuck you guys, I'm using him anyway. Now, for the final frame, and one that will come as, I guess, no real surprise, is Ivara. Probably the best solo Warframe in the game right now. Never-ending stealth with the right build. Add in her sleep arrow and a dagger if you want, using covert lethality, and you can literally run for hours and hours in endless missions. Some might find it boring, but in a game that's all about gathering resources and as many of them as you can, and cores and relics and so many other items that we need to farm, Ivara is really effective at it. She can also pickpocket resources, which adds to her value. Now, her Artemis bow deals really nice amounts of damage and won't really start to fall off on enemies until you get to about the level 150 or so. Once you have the right mods equipped on your bow, of course, Artemis bow will be really good. She also has an augment that allows her to run through lasers without setting off alarms, which right now makes her the queen of spy missions. But like I said already, a lot of players find Ivara boring and find that you need to have a kind of a camp mentality if you want to go into endless missions with her as long as possible. So if you don't enjoy Ivara, then that's fine. But many players do, and I can really see why. Now, that is the list of the top 5 solo Warframes in the game according to you guys, taken from the comment section of my last Ivara video. So that really needs to be reiterated, that this list is made by my subscribers, not by me. However, there are a few frames that I believe are incredible for running solo, as well as the ones mentioned. And considering the only reason to do endless missions right now is for relics or fusion cores or resources, and no longer prime parts because you can only get them from the Fisher missions, any frame can do those Fisher missions simple enough. So the frames that I believe are also incredible for solo running are frames like a Shatter Shield Mesa, which is great for damage mitigation, Zephyr with Turbulence active, a Loki because he is the original cheese frame easy mode, Frost with his Ice Wave Augment build, or even with his Dome either, he is really good. A Stomp Rhino built for maximum range, Equinox modded for her augment, Peaceful Provocation, and so on. There are many frames that are incredible solo, not to mention running with Naramon, because with Naramon active and a high crit chance weapon, then basically you can go for hours stealthed anyway. Just have to be careful not to pop out that stealth, or chances are you will just get one shot. So let me know what other frames you guys might have put on this list in the comment section below. Like I said at the start of the video, this list was taken from the comment section of my Ivara video. Make sure and check the date of the video while you're watching it as well, in case any of these frames have been reworked since then. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, don't if you don't. Subscribe for more Warframe, and as always, thanks very much for watching.